Hey, good morning. I'm Casey. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm Miriam. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So, we noticed that you sent an email inquiring to come and have a discussion about some of the services and stuff that we can provide down here for you. We know you've been attending the English classes here weekly, and yeah, we're just going to have a chat about some of the stuff we can try and get to support you with your moving to Australia. So, just before we start, just to make you feel comfortable, we've got some water. Feel free to have some of that. As well as that, if you were feeling uncomfortable with talking at any stage about any of the issues, you can let us know, and we can stop talking about any of the stuff that we will be discussing today. Also, we inquired in the email that we sent you that it was all right to talk to a male or female. You didn't mind about that, so that's all good. We also wanted to let you know that if a translator is needed, due to the cultural language barriers that could exist, you are entitled to a translator. That's under the TIS National, which states that for certain things such as pharmacies, real estate, or agencies conducting casework like ourselves, you are entitled to a free translator to help you. So, not sure if you want to use that today. You're pretty comfortable with speaking English and...
Yeah, thank you for all the offer there. I think at this stage I'm happy without needing to have a translator here, and I appreciate you being so considerate to my cultural needs and things. But yes, I'm happy to continue this conversation with you.
Too easy, yeah. So if ever we get into more of the technical services and with legislation involving government stuff, feel free to get a translator just to go over those finer details and stuff for the more serious sort of stuff we'll discuss. Also would like to let you know that obviously anything we say here is private and confidential, so won't be discussed with other team members at my work, won't go out from this room. Between what you share with me, that's what I keep. Obviously I might tell my supervisor about certain things just to discuss with them to help me with dealing with any of the situations you have going on.
Sure.
So, but anything you are uncomfortable with discussing stuff, just let me know, and we don't have to discuss that certain stuff, so that doesn't look right.
Thank you.
So basically what my role is, I'm a youth support worker down here, so we just try to help out with, I specialise in people that are migrating over here, so we try to help them settle into the community, into the Australian way, just make it a bit easier to transition before that. So you can leave whenever you wish. It's a safe environment, as I said, and all the decisions that you make are with informed consent. So we'll make sure anything that we do, try and set up with service-wise, it's all consensual, you're all ticked off. So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, about the situation at all?
Sure. So I'm 22 years old. My husband Jacob and I, we just moved over to Australia. We were over in Afghanistan there, but we had to leave our country due to the warfare and the political unrest. We also have our two young kids. So we have Angelica, and she's 3 years old, and we also have Anya, and she's 6. We do also come from a Muslim background, so we are, still finding our way in Australia. So it's great that you guys are here to give us those support. But yeah, we were sort of wanting to just see what our resources and what help is there available to us, just so we can sort of find our way.
That's very interesting that you tell me that. So how are you settling into life in Australia? Obviously, very different sort of climate situation to how it would be in Afghanistan, I imagine.
No, we're settling in quite well. There is also sort of a strong Muslim community here that we've also been sort of introduced to, and we've sort of been able to find some housings and had some government assistance and things there. We are still sort of trying to find some work. My husband, he was working as a truck driver. He did have the qualifications back home, but we're not sure if that is sort of still relevant in Australia. If we due to our culture, I wasn't working. My role was to more so stay at home with the children. But I think will be at some stage looking at sort of going into the workforce, but I have no experience in doing that myself. So some guidance there will be as well. And we'll also be looking at sort of trying just to adjust and sort of make it sort of nice for our children and for all of us to set up our lives here.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting to say. Interesting that you say how your husband does have qualifications as a truck driver back home in Afghanistan. So next time when we do have a meeting type thing, it'd be interesting to get Jacob in here, and we would be able to go through the qualifications that he does have from his time working over in Afghanistan. And what we can do is we can assess if those qualifications do transition to truck driving licenses over here. But if they don't, the process is fairly easy in Australia. So what we can do with Jacob is we'll talk him through what he needs to do, the steps that he can take, and we can help him along that process of hopefully
We've both been taking English lessons as well, sort of to try and sort of improve our English to get those skills on as well.
So that's always going to help as well. Yeah, that's exactly. And then like with how you said that you'd be interested in entering the workforce eventually once the kids move off to school and stuff. We do offer services. There's a lot of different services around the place that do offer support and like give you a bit of a stepping stone into getting the workforce. It's not just for immigrants. Can be for younger adults as well that are first starting off, turning 18, 19, coming out of school, haven't done workforce before, and these services just help provide them with some skills and get them ready to enter the workforce, help them do like a bit of placement at different places and just get a bit of experience. So we can definitely look at some of those for you to work on down the track as well. It's good to hear but that you are very interested and looking forward to entering the workforce. I also noticed how you mentioned the children. How are they coping with the change? Obviously very young, so...
Yeah, so they're settling the best that they can. It's definitely been an adjustment for them. Anya has had some difficulty as she's attending school and learning new things for the first time, as well as sort of the differences between here and there as well, and in a different country and the new language as well. It's been a bit difficult for her, but I am really thankful that the kids were able to sort of be especially Anya, be able to get allocated into school, and that she is in a safe environment of learning, and she'll have the right support here to pick up those English skills quickly. You know, I do have some worries that they may not fit in because of their differences there, and the cultural differences, and it would be good to know if there was any services that would be more for the children.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is a valid concern. That would be a concern that we'd also have with the children with their immigrating over here as well. Is obviously if they are like falling behind at school due to, you know, educational differences, language barriers, that sort of stuff. We would be concerned and hoping that we can find a way to work with the school or work with an external service to help try and provide them with a bit more of a stepping stone to just create that equality across the board so that they are learning at the same rate of what the kids in the classes are. But yeah, there's lots of opportunities in Australia, which is good, and in your communities for kids to sort of engage with their community, with other kids and stuff from all different cultures. So Australia's very big on sort of rec and kids sport type things. So what I'd probably recommend for the girls is having a look at some of those programs. There's obviously a lot of sporting clubs, sport they could get into, but as well as that, there's sort of a lot of rec sort of opportunities, recreational opportunities for the kids to do, such as scout groups, youth camp type programs where the kids could go and meet other kids and discuss and learn social skills and, you know, create that bit of community with themselves. So that is a chance for them to sort of fit in and gain a bit of that. So what you have discussed, I can see that there are possibly some inequalities that you guys might be facing. Obviously, you know, moving here, forced immigration, you didn't particularly have the time to you know, plan it out that you were moving here and get your learning and education, you know, to the level that you might have wanted before you could come over here in the workforce. So, you know, that we do want to try and cut that inequality out for you guys. So that's why I think it's great that you guys are doing the English lessons. I think that is great stepping stone to start helping with that. But yeah, and then obviously, like I just said, with the schooling with the kids, we want to make sure that they are being catered for, making sure what we'd most likely do is work with the school, have a discussion with the school to make sure that the school is providing them with enough resources that they are learning at that ability, support, and so that would be one of our inequalities that we would be looking to try and step out for you guys. So what I'd like to do just for today, before we get into looking at services and all that sort of stuff for you guys in the future, what I would like to just inform you of is some information guideline type things that would be relevant for you guys at the moment, just for you to have a look at with your partner and just be aware of before we do start looking at services to provide for you. So one of them is the National Youth Settlement Framework, which remains Australia's first and only evidence-based national guide to benchmark good practices with young people from refugee and migrant backgrounds. And it's the only one of its kind globally, so it is unique to us. So it has practical tools, self-assessment guides, a range of resources that are designed to equip policymakers and service providers with the skills and knowledges to best support young people from refugee and migrant backgrounds to thrive in Australia. So I suggest having a look at that document. I'll send you the links, pass them on to you after this. And if you'd like to highlight any points in there to bring back with you and your partner, and we can discuss them in further. But that would be a good little document to look, just to give you a bit of an insight into how us service providers in Australia do cater for immigrants and people like yourself. Another source that could be of interest to you guys is the Settlement Council of Australia and their National Settlement Outcome Standards. So the standards that they have, I'll quickly run through them with you guys. What they have for immigrants are, there's about 8 standards, I believe. So we've got, the first one's education and training. So the newly arrived people can readily access and participate in high quality education training pathways. So that's what we'd be trying to look at for you and Jacob with the workforce, providing that training and education to get you guys in there. Employment's the next one. So newly arrived people achieve positive employment outcomes supported by services which are responsive, diverse, sustainable and effective. We would be looking at that, particularly with Jacob first, getting him into some form of employment, as we know without employment it can have a few of follow-on effects that could impact you guys in the future. Obviously, poverty being one of them. Being on the welfare system is a good sustainable level when you guys first here, but obviously if you bring in a bit more income, get into the workforce a bit more, that will give you guys a bit more relief, a bit more freedom with money to also access better services that might be needed to help provide for you guys. As well as employment's a great chance for people to connect with their community and stuff, which would be handy. The next standard is health and wellbeing. So newly arrived people experience positive health and wellbeing and are fully engaged in effective and responsive health and wellbeing programs and services, including primary prevention and early intervention programs. So we'll also be looking at some services for you guys for that. Make sure that your health is being looked after. You didn't mention that there's any immediate concerns for any health issues?
No.
That's right. So housing. So appropriate, affordable and long-term housing is available and accessible for newly arrived people within reasonable proximity to social and community supports and employment opportunities. You did discuss that you have been provided by the government with, so that's good to know that that one is being catered for already. Language services, translating and interpreting services, and a wide range of highly quality translated and interpreted resources are widely available and accessible for newly arrived people. So like I said at the start, you are entitled to translator. So I will go through that again in more depth later on in other meetings as well, if we do want to get a translator on board for any sort of issues that need to be more discussed and explained. Transport, affordable and accessible transport options are readily available to newly arrived people to facilitate their social and economic participation and their well-being. So we'll look at that as well, like what you guys are doing for transport, and look at ways in which we can help provide that service for you. Civic participation, we make sure newly arrived people are fully engaged in participating in the Australian community and exercising their individual and collective rights and responsibilities under the law. That is a bit more of a technical sort of area. We can discuss that further on. We might be able to use the translator thing to just discuss exactly what your rights are in that regards to laws and civic duties. But yeah, that would be good to discuss. Family and social support. Newly arrived people are fully supported to establish and maintain safe, healthy, positive and meaningful family and social relationships. So obviously, coming from forced immigration, you guys don't have the family support here. what we try and do is create that support network for you through like services that we can provide here. Justice, obviously we want you to have full use of the legal and justice system in Australia if there is any issues that you do face. And then finance, we want you guys to be able to manage your finances in Australia. Obviously could be a bit different to what you're used to, but we would like to be able to provide support for you guys with that. So it is important that these standards are met for you, so we will be working towards make sure that we're all aligned with those and that they're all being met to you to help transition as smoothly as you can. Another document that I would suggest as well that you could have a look at is Snapshots from Oz, which is key features of settlement policies, programs and services for humanitarian entrants. So this document has a bunch of immigration information about people being forced to move to Australia. It provides 2 parts, so there's 2 parts to the documents, which shows the structure of Australia's settlement scene, and then also gives you more details on the services offered in Australia for you guys. So those documents that I will send to you will give you a good indication of what your rights and what services are available to you. So yeah, if you and your partner just want to have a glance over them, even highlight any key points, and then we can discuss them further as well. But I think it'd be good to give you a good insight. Another one that I will just let you know about is the QPASTT, which is a particular resource program that helps with people that have been liberated from the harms of torture, trauma, and human rights and justice. Now, we haven't gone into too much detail about the situation of your forced immigration, but I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that we can support any trauma that could be inflicted from your forced immigration. That site is very good with providing the resources and support for that as well. So feel free, if you are struggling or your partner's struggling with any of that, to jump on there. They do provide you with a lot of resources. Okay. But yeah, pretty much, yeah, so what we did today, obviously we discussed some of your immediate needs. I will go on, do a bit of research, try and find some services to match what you inquired about. And then next week we can obviously go through those a bit further. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with any decisions you do make, again, I'll alliterate that it is completely your choice if you do want to go for a particular service or not. If you're not happy with one, we can inquire about further different ones that might be more appropriate or you think could be more relevant to you. But yeah, I acknowledge you for having the time to come down here today and discuss that with me. I think it was good just to get a good indication of where you're at and just check in and stuff. But yeah, any input you do have, because at the end of today we are trying to support you, so as much input as you want to give us, we always take on board as well. So did you have anything much to say today, or just...
Well, thank you. It's been very informative. Thank you for all the documents and the information you've provided us. I'll take them home to Jacob and we'll have a good look over them and sort of look at what our options are. It seems like we've got lots of opportunities and you've sort of been able to point those all out for us, and we'll have a look into it, and we'll hopefully get Jacob here next time as well, so we can sort of see how we're going in terms of continuing with sort of us getting us set up here. And yeah, exactly. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, so if you want to see any of the staff here as you leave, we can rebook a meeting sometime next week where you and Jacob can come in and discuss. I'm available Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays from 9 in the morning till about 6 at night. I float around here, so I can be booked in from any of those sort of times. Sure. So if you see any staff member, and then, as I say, another staff member you can also approach them for some of the support as well. But completely up to you when you'd like to book in that next thing. But yeah, I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay. Thank you.
See you. Bye.